This is Mad Unity, our EDM life.
A lot of people don't give themselves enough grace, man. Do something that's going to give you inspiration. Go exercise, go for a walk, Take care of yourself, because what's happening is you're hitting a wall for some reason. And so you need to give yourself grace, you know what I mean?
Wise words from Cronus, this week's guest for the Green Room. In this, another in-depth listening session, we get into his music, a very special wish list for shows, and some deeper insights into the way he approaches his craft. His rich, luscious sound seamlessly blends influences from hip-hop, reggae, dub, and much more into EDM. The man makes a sub-bass sing. We're also joined in this conversation by friend of the podcast, Moises of Berserk Media, a visual artist and photographer from Madison who specializes in capturing the most iconic moments at shows throughout the Midwest. On behalf of my co-host Frequency and myself, Cosmo Brown, thank you for your continued listening. Remember to follow and subscribe and tell your friends how much you enjoy discovering new music with us every week. Let's get started. All right, so we are here with Kronos. Am I pronouncing it Kronos?
Kronos.
Yes. Producer, DJ from Virginia Beach, and he is, Icon grad, friends with Mr. Frequency here. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
I appreciate it. This is really cool. Yeah. Phil and I met at Icon out in Burbank. We sat right next to each other.
Nice.
First day, yeah.
First day, and then sat right there.
All the bass kids sat in the front row.
Yeah, front row, nerdy.
Yeah. Tell us all the things, Professor.
Yeah.
I remember going home and being like, man, I was sitting next to this guy, Phil. He's going to be the next hot thing.
Yeah.
And blah, blah. I remember listening to some of Phil's work. Phil was actually using a vocal sample that I was using. And I remember listening to what he did with it. I was like, that's so much better than that.
Nice.
But yeah, so I started DJing locally around here. It was like a joke, actually. Like my buddy was like, hey, we both love music. I feel like for pre-games, you should get, it was like a little DDJ 400, a Pioneer DDJ 400, one of those little controllers. Then I got that and I was just, messing around at house parties or whatever. And then we were both like, this is actually kind of fun. One thing led to another.
That adrenaline hits when you're doing those house parties. I feel like a lot of people start with those house parties and it's just you feel that energy and you're like, I did that. But
it also teaches you when the crowd who doesn't love heavy dubstep comes around, you have to
you got to cater,
appease to the masses, what I mean?
Exactly.
So,
you got to play the top 40s and you're like, fuck, play No Hands by Waka Flocka. And
yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, Uber's here, so we got to go.
You're like, all right, we're actually going to the bars now.
So I started DJing around here locally, and then I had a great opportunity to play I would say medium-sized festival in Pennsylvania called Big Dub. It's actually on a protected Native American land, I think.
Okay.
I remember someone was telling me about it. And I was just like,
sure.
Oh yeah. So I got to do that. That was really cool. I played 2 sets there, and camped and did the whole thing. It was,
nice.
I was grimy.
Yeah. It was one of those. It was one of those events where you just,
Oh yeah, just a dusty wook.
Nice.
I actually brought my wife, who I think we were still dating at the time, who was very new to the EDM scene. I just threw her right into a camping festival.
Dude, that's gonna be a good one for a Mount Rushmore topic later.
That's not a first date.
But that's a good
the trial by
in
fire.
hindsight.
That's how you knew.
She's still here. She's downstairs.
There
So
you go.
it
Yeah,
worked.
She got through a festival and she's still there. That's all that says enough. Right
Trial
there.
by fire.
Yeah. But yeah, and then right after that, not too long after that, we ended up moving out to LA and going to Burbank for Icon and everything. So
yeah,
And you're back in Virginia Beach now?
I am. Yeah, I finished Icon. Actually, while I was at Icon, I had my son. And so
it was the talk of the town at school.
Yeah,
actually.
that's crazy. Yeah.
He just
so
the Icon baby.
Fun.
The Icon baby.
Well, he was like telling us we like met him and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I have a kid on the way," and we're like, "No way!" It's actually wild. I like saw that kid from birth to now. That's like the first child I've seen where I'm like, dude.
First since he was born. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Uncle Phil. all those dudes. Leaf, Gundry.
Actually, he has an exclusive 1 of 1 jacket that I gave him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do. That's right. Yep. But yeah, so moved back. Trying to do the music thing over here on the East Coast.
Nice.
So.
And you, I think Phil went out to play a club that
show.
Club
Yeah,
night
we
show
played a
that
show
you guys
together.
do. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Phil got to experience Peabody's.
Dude, let me tell you, I haven't had like that much fun as just an artist at a show before. Like it was crazy. Like
I remember you were telling me that people actually ask you to sign something.
Yeah, dude, I
was like,
believe that.
Yeah.
So we back to back. It was Jenga. We opened for Jenga, and we were direct support. And like you get there, and like most of the places I've played here, it's like you can't go in the green room, this and that. You know, they're just like, come on in. Like everyone was like super nice, and then I was like, we didn't know how the night was gonna be. Like it was all just speculation, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere we get on stage and it's like crowd's nuts. There's like they have rafters there, and they're like cool with them doing like pull-ups on the pipes and shit. Like
people are like hanging from the rafters, like upside down.
Dude, like people
literally
put their
hanging
legs
from the rafters.
People put their legs on the rafter and just hang, and their music's like dubstep and lasers and shit, and it's just
nice.
like. So that was like
lawless.
I was just like a 1 of 1. Like I was like, dude, they just do that here. Like
that's how the South gets down.
None of the managers are like, oh yeah, like that's just that's our thing.
We put reinforced pipes, so it's all good.
Well, and then their rail wasn't like a metal rail; it was like a wood. Like
it's like 2x4s.
It's like 2x4s.
Oh wow!
It's like,
It
was, dude.
So it was like shaking.
It's like a vibe. It's such a vibe though. And then so we're playing. And then we finished our set. Like I felt really good after. I was like, dude, that was fire. Like they loved it. And then we get off stage and it's sort of like you're the opener, so they like think you're just local is what you would think, right?
Yeah.
You get off and there's people are at the rail on the right, like with fucking like excision jerseys. They're like, sign this.
Oh,
and
nice.
I'm like, you want me to ruin that?
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
And then people are like photos and like they're taking photos with us. And then we eventually get out and we go to the back and we get some drinks. Like we're chilling, vibing, and people are coming up to us still in the back. They're like, you were up there. And
yeah,
like,
that's cool, man. Yeah, that's always a
unbelievable
rewarding
experience. Like shout out Cronus, dude. Like that was a fucking amazing time.
Yeah.
Shout out Virginia Beach, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, but shout out you having me out.
The crowd gets down like that.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
It was fire.
Nice.
Like, yeah, and then we definitely had a few too many, and then
speak for yourself, Phil.
Famous last words.
No, but memorable moment of the trip was after the show. It's like 3 or 4 a.m. We get back to his place. We just went for a bike ride to the beach. Like at like 4 a.m.
Nice.
The stars are out, like the beach waves. You're like it's just quiet, and it's just like right after the show too. So like
that's just the perfect night. Right
Yeah,
dude, it was insane because like you just had like a loud ass night in this club, and then you just went on like a half a mile bike ride, just wind blowing.
That's
you're just
dope.
like, oh,
and the Atlantic Ocean is pretty chill too. Like,
and like it was just enough waves where it's like white noise, and you're just like, wow, like I'm calm.
Nice.
Yeah, where my house, we actually just moved. Where that house is, sits right on the Chesapeake Bay, and so like the Atlantic, is going north and south, and the bay just kind of cuts out east and west, and we're on that like east-west strip, and so the water's super calm. It's like a lake over there.
Yeah,
and then there's this. A pretty famous bridge over there called the Lesnar Bridge, and at night the underside of it will light up and like glow different colors.
Well, that's cool.
And so, it was like one of my favorite places to go.
It was. I wish I had more time. other than just playing a show. Like I would have liked to just chill there.
Go vacation.
Yeah, and I mean, I've talked like I'm definitely gonna go there with Kayla and just hang out with them.
That was like the whole thing about that weekend. I was like, yeah, come play the show, but hey, the other 99% of the time we're just gonna be hanging out. Like we're at the beach. You know,
we went to the beach. We went to the beach. We got some tacos from an authentic. It was
beach town.
Fire, dude.
Oh yeah,
we just walked.
we were just beach bums, man.
Dude, we literally were walking the sidewalk on the beach, and just like people are on vacation, and you're just like, I'm playing a show tonight.
Yeah, this is sick. Come down to the show tonight.
Another show.
Yeah.
Holding your little cardboard signs.
We were out there. Like, here's the ticket link with the QR.
Right, QR code. Scan it and come down.
Also, that was another really cool part. So like coming from the Midwest, no one there knew who I was.
Yeah.
So it was nice. People like, you could tell they liked me because of what I played.
Right.
They didn't like me because of
they knew you
to start off.
Yeah.
But now
nobody told them to like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't build anything there. Like no one knows. It was just like, hey, here's my music. And then now I have people on Instagram. They're like, dude, when are you coming back out? And I'm like,
nice.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see like other.
Is there a pretty big scene in like so I lived in North Carolina for a couple of years.
Oh, what part?
Winston-Salem.
Okay, so I'm originally from Greensboro.
Oh, you are? Okay, cool. Yeah. So neighbors basically.
I know Winston.
Yeah, but I didn't get out much while I was there. But I know Charlotte has a scene. But
not a big EDM scene in Winston-Salem.
Yeah,
North Carolina.
it's like the big thing there is Wake Forest, and it's not much of a
Demon Deacons.
Yeah, they're a party school, but in a different way.
Yeah.
So anyway, cool. So you sent us some really great tracks, by the way, and I've been enjoying them.
Yeah, dude, this has been raving about it. Today I woke up and he's like,
I was like, listen to this on the way to the car.
It's like foggy out today and Matt, like super foggy. You can't even like see a half a mile ahead.
It's like 2 degrees.
He was like, dude, this is a vibe in the fog. And he just sent me your song.
So we're gonna listen to "Falling" first. And that one is released or is?
So there's a version of it up on my SoundCloud. I actually just went back and sort of revamped it, and I'm gonna put it out on Spotify probably the first of the year.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this here is "Falling."
Can you hear it?
A little bit.
Okay. It might not be super loud for you.
Yeah.
It's a feature, not a bug.
I've heard it.
Since it felt like this.
subs like sing, you know, like the sub bass just has me kind of grooving. A little bit.
Yeah.
I need like a montage right now.
I couldn't really hear you guys.
Yeah.
So we can hear it on our end, but you're not gonna be able to hear it on yours. You can just watch our reaction.
Yeah.
And just,
You've
heard it. You played it like
song.
5,000 times, right?
Yeah.
Like working on it.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying, you know, like that sub just kind of takes me for a ride, and
dude,
you know, it's just,
the sub and then the synths that are like buzzing in the back or whatever that is. What is that? It's like a spiral. You have something spiraling in the back that's like going.
A lot of those texture layers, like it almost feels like like a layer is like, how I think of it is it's like almost coming out of water and then like it turns into like, it has like a completely different texture.
Yeah.
It's all, I just abuse Portal by output. Like I'll just go find samples or just like, you know, make like, I think Phil and I have talked about it a little bit. Like our sound design in terms of like using a soft synth like Serum is like such a small part of how my sound design now is. This was a big Icon thing. Like shout out a lot of my mentors at Icon.
Who would you say? Which? Yeah, I was gonna say which main.
Lumberjack was the guy who put me onto the stuff by output, Thermal, Portal, and then there's one other that's like a rhythmic one that I don't have yet. But dude, I'll just like toss something into Portal and then just abuse it, you know, and then resample or whatever. What's really cool is getting a long strip of audio, reversing it, stretching it. Like you only need to stretch it once and then tossing it through Portal again, and it just creates these like crazy texture layers.
And Portal is a plugin?
Yeah.
Portal's a plugin. It's sort of like a granular.
It's a cool looking one. It's like a spacey circle type of thing. It's cool.
You can definitely do too much though. Especially like Thermal.
So where do you can tell you're pulling this from a deeper space. Where are you going when you're writing this?
In terms of
like you can tell you're like every decision in this song was made with a big thought. Like you were in a good place in your head or something, or like you were at the beach writing this.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
I don't know how to explain it, but there's a feel to it where there's just a lot of pull and emotion. Yeah. Even though it's just like, you know, like I don't.
It's like basically if you start deconstructing the samples, we know where they're going, but when you put them together, there's
flowing.
a vibe, right? Like it's like everything's kind of like having a conversation with each other, right?
And
there's
sort
the
of
vocal
like
sample, and then the bass comes in, and it just everything takes me in different rides.
The question was sort of like not in this aspect, but it's like who hurt you? But like where are you? Like
who's your muse?
Yeah, basically. Like what's like the inspiration behind this?
Man,
are you pulling from like anywhere deep, or are you like?
I'm glad you think that it's something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna play into that. A lot of it is just like that's cool.
It's cool though. Like if that's just what you're doing without even realizing it, that's just a whole.
I get, and I don't know. You could probably attest to this. There's like a feeling that if I'm starting on a new project, there's definitely like a feeling that I have.
Yeah.
I can't like put that feeling into words.
Are you doing blank slate every time when you're writing these?
Usually, if I'm starting a new project, usually it's a blank slate. And I'll either start with like some sort of melody or like a riff or something, or a drum break.
Yeah.
What's worked a lot for me, and I think Falling, pretty much all the songs you guys have of mine, a lot of them are like I'll get a drum break going and then I'll just start from like the downbeat. I'll have a downbeat and I'll play like the root and then I'll play like the fifth, either fifth up or fifth down.
It's going music theory on us.
And then I'll start and then I'll just kind of like, you know, like if you listen to like funk, there's a really cool video that like Bootsy Collins has where he talks about his method of playing bass and everything. And, you know, they're playing a little bit of drums and he's like, you can feel the downbeat and he'll, you know, boom.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom. You know, and like all he's doing is just playing the downbeat and immediately like your head starts going like this and then he'll play like boom, boom.
Right.
It's like progressive house, but not house.
Right.
Like it's progressive.
And so I'll just like fill things in that way. And that has been the best formula for me in terms of getting like a call and response in my music.
Yeah.
Because if I'm just like if I like have like I want it to be like
right,
yeah,
I'll try and make that and it's just ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
bro. This dude at school, he was the king of the mud pie. That's what I looked at him as.
What's the mud pie?
So the mud pie. He can explain this.
That's another lumberjack thing. Shout out lumberjack.
Yeah, this dude, a lot of knowledge. I had him as a mentor too.
Yeah,
really.
It's a mud pie. Essentially, is just a long strip of audio that you know. It's just a crazy amount of sound design that you just resample into like just a chunk of audio.
Okay.
And so a cool way to do it to make like a really neat like neuro bass or like a Reese bass is you can do it with like operator or like any synthesizer. Using a sine wave is the cleanest sound that you'll get, but just taking like a notch filter or like a low pass filter, and then turning the grid off of Ableton, so you can, and like getting the pencil tool, and you can just freely draw like curved lines.
Basically, all randomization.
I'll just click like random parameters and just like scribble, click, add another filter, click, scribble, and I'll have like 30 auto filters where I'm automating.
So that's how you're getting a lot of that texture from just.
And then he's putting all that down, and it's like he's recording it out, and it's making all these weird sounds. Yeah. And then you go in that recording and you pull sounds that you're cool. Yeah. You pull them out to throw them in your song, and then on top of that, you can audio process them even more. Right. On top of what's already been processed.
Yeah. So it's basically layers. You flatten layers. You flatten.
It's an endless cycle of just finding cool stuff while you're making randomness, and that's why it's like a mud pie. You're literally just throwing
like things. Yeah.
Also, look at Moises right now. He's like, what the hell is going on?
Moises, have we formally introduced you? So Moises is actually a photographer, videographer. That's why he's wearing his film crew hat.
Yeah, film crew.
And he's also a new dad, man. Congratulations. I forgot to.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
They're both dads.
Yeah. So
it's the best. How old?
Like what? 3 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks?
Oh,
like
very new dad. Yeah.
Girl.
Oh, man.
Yeah, congratulations, man. Yeah,
no, it's like amazing experience.
And he's so I actually got to go. So Moises is a photographer, and I met him at Liquid, one of the local clubs. And then I got to see him in action at a big show with Green Velvet. You photographed them, right? Like,
I did their like after movie for La La Land. That shit was dope.
Cool.
Dude, just flex a little bit. Tell them who you photographed for.
Yeah.
Dude, tell them we've done media for.
Haven't I? I mean, Boogie T. I just did Chris Lorenzo, Mala.
Oh, sick.
Dude, the list goes on. Like,
this dude gets around.
Yeah, he's
sick.
I'm all right.
Yeah,
he's not all right. This is my go-to.
No, dude. Like,
whenever
I
I'm
don't
playing,
know
this is
anything about like music theory, but like while I was listening to your track, all I could think of is just that, like, feeling when you. That feeling when you're coming down from like Molly and you're just like, yo, like this is it. Like the world
personally don't
fucking sense.
You're also a sober monkey like me.
No, I mean this was a long time ago, but like it's just like
it's sort of a melancholy.
Yeah. Like I could like visualize like what I would do for like a recap for this. Track. It's just like
with your recaps, like visually and like
nice. Visually and just trying to capture that feeling of just like, dude, like this is all perfect.
And what's awesome is you actually sent us all these visuals for most of the tracks. I think for 4 of them at least.
Dude, he's been sending me like the stuff, and he posts them on Instagram.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Do you do those on like an AI type thing or like?
It's like I took like abusing plugins into doing this stuff. I was like
editing tools.
like what's the worst that's gonna happen? So like initially I'm not gonna divulge where I get.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
all right,
give us your
secrets.
I'm just
kidding. I'm not a gatekeeper. I go on Canva. And Canva has like a Magic Studio or whatever. It might be like the Canva Pro. They have like a Magic. Whatever. And you can do like AI images, or they have like these new AI like 4-second clips. And so I'll just think of like I'll read you some of these.
He just types in the come up with wildest descriptions,
the craziest AI prompts.
So
and like, like I've got a few of them.
These
are the ones that created what y'all have seen. Neon rainforest with alien creatures dancing under neon mushrooms.
I saw that one.
Neon rainforest with an interdimensional portal to another universe. Psychedelic rainforest with neon technology at night. Stuff like that, just to see like how far AI can go.
Moises like
and
used AI.
See what it comes up
like used AI for that, dude. Come on.
And then no shot I'm making. And then I'll get like 3 to 6. I'll stack them, especially in like the real dimensions, like Instagram real dimensions.
Yep.
I'll do a bunch of I'll do like 3 high, and then sometimes I'll like set 3 more smaller over that, and then I'll export it. And so it's like this crazy like moving AI image, and then I'll run it through Splice.
He resamples his video.
Yeah, sample and resample. I'm sensing a trend in your process.
It's a clear formula.
Yeah.
I realized I've had Splice for a while, but I realized that you could like take some of the visual effect, like the movie effects, and you can just like, again, abuse them. You could just like toss like 40 of them on, and it'll just keep distorting the image.
The only limit is your processing power on your computer, basically.
Yeah.
Really. And then, you know, I'll just kind of like line up. They have like glitches and stuff. And so like, I'll sort of recreate the way the song goes with the video effects. And so like, obviously on the drop, it's going to be like some crazy, you know, video effect. But then like leading up to it.
Mud pies.
Leading up to it, I'll put like a bunch of different glitches and then like it'll sort of pop. But yeah, I mean, that's all I do. It's really cool. And it's really easy. It's just how much patience do you have?
It's just tedious and patience. At the end. All of this is, honestly. Like music in general. You're not going to write down a slapper the minute you sit down. You might. But like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, any sort of creative process too, right? You know, it's just like, especially it's crazy that we have these tools now, you know, just, I took a film photography class, you know, in my, design school. And basically, like all of the stuff that Photoshop does, it came from somewhere. It came from people actually like ruining paper, you know, and like this, like they're like the burn and the color dodge and all that stuff. Like they had techniques that were all just sort of like an enlarger, and then you sit in a dark room and come up with all. Now we have these tools that we could just like experiment like times a million, which is fun.
There's
like
also
way more rewarding too.
See, the only thing is there's also abusing it. Like, so at Icon, we went to school and there's a kid in my class. Yeah. Not going to name him. But every final
Coronas.
No, it wasn't anyone in this chat. But no, every so we got to like, you're going to that school obviously to learn music, right? You want to intake all that. You want to make mistakes. You don't have to get an A on every assignment. You're not gonna.
Right.
And this kid would either use AI to write his melodies. So we're in music theory and they're like, you need to write this progression, and it's like the most complex like formula you'd ever see. Yeah. They're like, notate it, write a song with it, and then you have to play it in class. Right. And all of a sudden this kid just goes up there and plays like the biggest track I've ever heard, like Skrillex worthy. Like, I'm like, dude, what? Like, no. And he's showing us tracks throughout. This is like quarter 3. So quarter 1 and 2, this kid's like he played some music and it was like, okay, like you're learning, like, you know. Right. But then quarter 3 out of nowhere, it's like leap. Skrillex. And we're like, what the, and then dude gets called in the office like a week later. AI. Oh, damn. Caught just all AI written. Yeah. Same kid, quarter 4 now. Instead of using AI, goes to Fiverr, hires someone to write his final. Why would you just, Yeah. You think you learn from the AI part, but then instead of using AI, he's like, fine, I'll go human with it. Hires an outside source. But yeah.
Some people just want trophies.
Right. Yeah, that is it. And it's just like, so you can use it as a good tool. You can use it for referencing. You can use it as like helping. But like then there's the abusing part, and it's like don't. Well,
and that's kind of the same with everything, even like writing or journalism, or like there's like it's an assistant, but it's not really. I mean, you can, but then it makes sense. Like, well, you can notice it to your point, right? Like it's like, how did this guy get so good
out of nowhere, right? And then also there's like you just paid how much to go to this school and live in LA where it's expensive as like.
Yeah. Just to cheat.
Yeah, just to cheat on your way through. Like, what do you think? You're going to get through, graduate, and they just give you a label, a manager, and like that's not how that school works. Yeah. That school, a lot of people for some reason have that perspective. I'm sure Cronus has heard it too, where they're like, you went to Icon, and after you go to Icon, you go, pff, you know? Right. No, Icon is like your stepping stone. It's like
gives you the foundations to be able to function.
Yeah,
in
and
that
then
level
after you graduate, they let you go. They're like, yeah, you can hit them up and get like references, resources. They're there, right? But they're not like holding your hand. Yeah, they're like, you figure it out. Yeah. We'll throw like what we can.
Right. They're not. I mean, just like with any education, you're not. It's like it's what you put into it. Yeah. Like when I was in design school, right? There were kids who were in there just sort of like, whatever, right? And then they were upset that they didn't get a job after school. But it's like, bro, your portfolio sucks because you didn't do anything while you were here.
That was exactly it.
Yeah,
and like the whole point of Icon was sort of like, maybe don't release all year, build up, learn, do all your thing. You kind of like,
make your mistakes.
Make your mistakes. That's the thing. You're not going to get all A's. Like, you don't need to. You're honestly, if you get all A's, like, you're not learning probably.
Right.
You're literally just going through the motions and doing exactly what that assignment says.
Right. You're not, it's part of the creativity.
Yeah.
All right, so which track should we listen to next?
Pick one, dude.
Falling.
We'll do a fun one. I think I'm probably putting out. We'll do My Sound next. I think I'm probably putting out Falling and My Sound as a 2-song EP. I'll probably do it like that.
Big words. Big 2-letter
experimental project.
All right.
Experimental project.
So this is My Sound. Let's go.
My sound are the people's sound. My sound are the heavyweight sound.
I like the reggae
My
vibe.
sound is a jungle sound. My sound make the crowd gather round. My sound make a freedom now sound. Brrr, come me say kill all sound. My sound make them run out of town. Brrr, kill every sound. My sound where the people them love. My sound is a play rubber dub. My sound is a play one drop. EDM and me say jungle and my sound, yeah, all style. Come on, sound and me say
there's that progression.
Yeah.
Come on, sound and me say well, see time. My sound come from the all sound. My sound are the talk of the town. You way up and me say on your way down. Down to this, my sound. My sound come from the all sound. My sound come from slaughter every sound. Kill no sound. Run them out of town. My sound come from the all sound. My sound are the talk of the town. You way up and me say on your way down. Down to this, my sound. My sound come from the all sound. My sound come from slaughter every sound. Kill no sound. Run them out of town.
Get up and dance.
See, this is earlier we reviewed a track. We reviewed a different track from someone else earlier, and this is what I mean.
Yeah.
He got rid of the vocal right there at the end, and we're just vibing.
Right.
Like, he let it breathe.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah.
You don't have to have it on every
Literally.
every bar.
Gotta light up that joint now.
Yeah.
You just put it out. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, that's it.
Like, all right, back to business. No, that was cool, dude.
That's fire.
Still going, yeah.
My sound are the heavyweight sound. My sound is a jungle
Let's just play it in the
sound.
back and talk about it.
My sound make the crowd gather round.
Yeah, that got me. There was a good example of the progression he was talking about on the last review, on his last song too. You had like, there's multiple times where I was like, all right, here comes the first kick, like of the beat, and you just kept going with more synths, and I was like, okay, fire.
Is that okay? I was gonna say, is that good?
No, that's good. It's keep me guessing. Like if you would have hit a kick where I expected it, I'd been like, oh yeah. Like, you know.
Oops, sorry.
I'd have been like,
I'm
that's
struggling with the volume here.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna turn you up.
What's going on over here?
Yeah, it's just like it's all on the same channel, but yes, I'm gonna turn you guys up.
No, that was fire again. That one was more of a flexed song too. That wasn't like it was emotional, but to the point where he was just like, this is my sound, bro.
Yeah, you know, I think I was trying to kind of articulate what it's appealing, and for me, it's like everything. All the parts have a room to breathe, but they all still sound very full, right? Like it's like a lot of tracks, it's like, you know, even, you know, just when you're listening to a lot of, it's just saturated and everything sort of like
you can say it's my
together.
tracks, dude.
Yeah. Like frequency stuff, it's like the wave is free, you know. But yeah, no, I think it's just like But yeah, maybe there's something to that beach vibe, man, because you're in.
Dude,
I think that's definitely a lot of it. Like when Phil and I first met, I was a heavy bass head. I mean, like dubstep, what Phil makes, heavy drum and bass, like anything.
Yeah.
That was my jam. And then it was just something about going through the Icon process, as well as becoming a dad, as well as, you know,
started calling you.
my previous job, I wasn't allowed to smoke pot, and now I smoke pot.
Yeah.
And like all of those things just like culminated into this new project. I also saw, I got to give a huge shout out to Pretty Lights. I saw him on this new tour not long before I made this. And I remember, dude, I saw him at the Hampton Coliseum here, and it was like, the amount of people I've seen in that building, this was like, you know, top in terms of production. It was a 2-night thing, and like all the themes that he did, oh man, it was beautiful.
That was actually gonna be my question. I was like, who are your artist influences? That's definitely one, right?
He's definitely one. And like, I started listening to Pretty Lights. Man, his first album that I listened to came out in what, like 2006 or something like that?
I'm not
like
on the train really.
Something crazy, way back. Like I think 2006 was like the first, his first album in like 2008. And I remember like being in middle school listening to.
Oh wow, yeah.
See, dude, I didn't get into it till like high school. This dude's in middle school listening to Pretty Lights. Holy shit.
Yeah, I started listening to another artist that we can't really talk about. Also,
yeah, we're gonna have to.
I remember being on
a
bus. I was on a bus going on a field trip, and someone showed me "He Who Shall Not Be Named," and I was like,
"It's like Voldemort." Dude.
Now I kind of want to know. Wait, who?
No, we can't. We're not going to say it.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, got it. Okay.
There's a trial.
Yeah. We were talking about that before we started. Yeah.
Yeah, I brought this up before. I was like, all right, he's like, we're not going to talk about this.
Yeah, no, we won't.
But now there's a trial, so
it's all beep,
dating myself. I started listening to those guys. Zed's Dead's another one. I remember listening to. I remember freshman year in high school listening to No Prayers by Zed's Dead and Omar Links back when like they were still doing like hip hop stuff. Like they both started as hip hop artists.
Have you heard their new shit though?
Together.
Their new stuff's back on that train.
They just did one with Omar Links, didn't they? Didn't they just do something with him?
Spotify. I just remember they just dropped. They premiered one at a show and then they dropped it and everyone like.
Oh, you're thinking of
Sweet Memories.
Yeah, they opened with that. I saw them.
A
couple months before Pretty Lights at the Hampton Coliseum.
You videoed them?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, look at that.
Oh yeah, dude, it was insane. Like just being up there with them and just like, dude, what the fuck? This song,
the Sweet Memories one. Yeah. Didn't they have like a cool visual too and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
They opened. I think they opened with that. They definitely played it. One of their, I think the first night.
Yeah.
Great track.
Yeah,
they have great samples.
Have you heard Thievery Corporation?
Oh yeah, Thievery Corporation is so tight.
They played here at the Sylvie, and it was a fun. The dude plays a sitar.
You know,
he comes out with a sitar and it's like ring, ring,
I gotta
ring.
Google this.
Real
it's
psychedelic.
Yeah, it's like an Indian sort of guitar with like a bajillion like strings.
They like travel all over the place.
Dude, yeah, and it was funny because it was some of their songs are reggae influenced and the other are sort of electronic influenced, and they were just going back and forth.
It's like an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, but it's like it's got I don't know how many strings.
It's a little weird shaped and it's got
You've never seen a sitar?
Dude, I've never seen a sitar. I went to the School of Music and I've never seen a sitar.
I'll send you the video that I took because one of their songs was on Garden State, that movie.
I just hit play.
Yeah,
and they play the big track that was on that. But yeah, I think that's the sort of vibe, right? Like it's just
it is a similar vibe.
And then aren't you? I remember at Icon you were really big on trying to learn this. Aren't you big on like live instruments in your sets? Like that's what you're going for, or like live Ableton push and stuff,
dude. Like. Well, let me back up. At Icon, that originated from me thinking, and I still kind of think it. I think DJing, it's very saturated right now. Anyone can DJ.
Right.
To stand out is very hard, and I think DJing's fun. I love DJing just to like goof off. I think if you want to stand out and, wow people, your live performance needs to incorporate some sort, like for me, like I'm in the process of getting away from CDJs, and I'm using my APC 40, and then I've got
we were just talking about that. I have one of those that I haven't really used.
Yeah,
I mean, I use it for volume.
Push.
Look at that.
Oh, nice, dude. The push.
Ooh. Yeah, he's a live instrument. Like I remember him working on this at school, and he was more into it than any of us.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say these are live instruments, but
but you know what I mean. It's like the live aspect.
Yeah. Just for if anyone comments on this video.
I mean, dude,
it's not a live instrument.
Bro, if they got a comment, they can come on the pod and talk about it. How about that?
They can come find me. The goal would be, and there are a few guys around here that I've been talking to, have a live drummer, because that's so sick to me.
Yeah.
Someone that can like keep an EDM style show going.
Yeah.
Shout out, what's his name at Icon? Shout out Ryan Brown.
Exactly. That dude. Man, I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, me
Such
too,
a talented
dude.
kid.
And he keeps in touch. That's another nice. He's
he's a professor there.
Genuine. Yeah, he was one of our. What did he? Yeah, he taught. Sound design.
Okay.
He was sound design, and then he was like the drummer of the school.
Yeah.
Like him and this guy named Patches were like insane at the drums. Yeah.
I follow Patches on socials and everything too.
Oh yeah.
Patches has been on tour.
Yeah, they're some of those professors they got there are like
legit. Yeah.
They're like teaching during the week. Almost. They teach during the week and then they go
they like, perform in the weekends.
Like this Ryan Brown guy, I didn't know this, but like I knew he was a drummer, and then I went and saw Keizo and Cray open for him, which is his now fiance, and he was the drummer for Cray.
Oh wow!
And I was like, dude, what? Like, he's just doing.
That's how you know you're getting taught by legit.
Yeah, and then you go to school and you're like, dude, wait, you were.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So you mentioned. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. In addition to having a drummer, then like there's a guy that plays saxophone and bass that I really want to get on stage with me.
I was just gonna ask you if by chance you had heard of Breakbeat Era. It was a Ronnie Size. It was drum and bass Ronnie Size project.
The genre breakbeat?
No, it's like the band was called Breakbeat Era, and they were drum and bass, but they were live instruments. So like it was like the drummer, they're playing drum and bass songs, and it was produced by Ronnie Size. But it was like the bass,
kind of like Pendulum almost.
I haven't heard Pendulum, but yeah, I mean, it was just like literally like legit, like just like a boom, boom. It would be like playing a full set, and I saw them live in LA.
Did they have an MC too?
They had a singer. They had a singer. Like it was like a woman singer, and it was. So like I saw them at a small club in Hollywood, right? And at some point they blew the breaker, so the power goes out on the sound system, but the drummer's going off, right? So like he just was like, what? And kept playing just, and we just kept dancing, right? And just kind of dancing with the acoustic drums. And then like a minute into it, the sound comes back on and it's like,
was he right in time with it too?
Dude, he was. And we like lost our shit. Yeah. Like the crowd were all like, whoa! It was one of like most epic shows I've ever seen.
That in LA?
It was, I don't know what it was like on Sunset and Cahuenga. I'm not sure what it was called, but it was like, it was like there were about maybe 300-400. And
was it apartment? Not apartment. Oh, dude.
Well, this was like 2000. Like, so it was just, it could be anything.
Whiskey a Go-Go?
Oh, it was like the Whiskey's on the other side of Highland, way down the road. This is more on the, what would that be? The east side of Sunset. Like Cahuenga is kind of like, it's
dude,
like,
I think I played a show where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Leaf and me went back to back at some place that was right on that street. But I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't one of the famous like Sunset clubs or whatever, but it was, I mean, it's still a venue probably because it was, but it was, I think the live instrumentation is really hard to pull off, but like the musicians that are on point.
Really, drum and bass? Drumming for drum and bass?
Yeah.
That has to be exhausting.
Dude, like the dude was on, like a Breakbeat Era, I'll look it up, it was like a Ronnie Size project, and it was, kind of the first golden age of drum and bass, I would say, like, late 90s, early 2000s, and all of them were coming out to Hollywood, LA. But, I mean, massive shout outs to anybody who can play a live instrument to this kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. So we have you said Falling next? Would that be the
we started with Falling.
Yeah, we did Falling.
You were saying My Sound.
We did My Sound.
We just did My Sound. Let's do Astronaut. Astronaut's a cool
I like Astronaut actually too. So
you got Jorge excited on that one.
Dude, yeah, no, I
good pick.
Yeah, I like the vibes. All vibes. This is Astronaut by our guest Cronus, sorry. I'm so excited I can't pronounce the name.
That's why you were late today.
Dude, he's been late.
Dude, it's been a day.
Why is he not headlining the fucking biggest festivals right
now? He's not from around here.
That bass just punches me.
Dude, he's got that dubstep sound in there too a little bit. I'm like, ooh. This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Tickles my ear.
So, dude, I think with that one, the hats, like, everything's just flowing. The percussion, the hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sounds so good, man.
Yeah, I mean, so... what got me with this was that sub just punches... Like, I feel like it just punches me in the gut, but in a good way, you know? Like,
especially when it hit on the one. Like, when it was all the intro, and then it went boom.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah.
And you got good percussion and
this guy makes music.
Yeah.
It's like your music is so fucking fresh. I'm like, yo, like this is like something I need.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's the thing, isn't it? Like everyone's making the same, but this guy doesn't give a shit.
Right.
Like
it's just like
he's making
sound.
his own thing.
Yeah. No, I don't know what else to say. I don't have any more superlatives, but yeah, I mean, you know, we're.
I don't even want to give any feedback. I don't got any constructive criticism or anything.
Yeah, I think it's just more. It's just more about enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're good. That's what I made it for.
Yeah. No, and I think. So, like, are you playing these and are you playing sets out on this stuff, or are you trying to just more like perform, or what's the?
What's a Cronus set look like now?
Yeah.
What's the goal with all of it?
Because when I played with him, it was like we're playing heavy.
Yeah.
But he changed since that show completely. So now I'm interested in what he's.
Yeah, I would say the show that Phil and I played was definitely sort of like the last heavy Cronus set.
It's vintage now.
This new project, on SoundCloud, if you go to the last EP that I just put out, the Steve Swervin EP, the last track in that playlist is a mixtape, and that sort of like shows how the live set would be. The cool thing about the APC 40 and my push is like, and the way I've started making these songs, like in one of the last ones we played, there's like a breakdown section, sort of like the second half of the drop. I've started opening those up like so that in a live setting, you could just kind of freestyle over it. Nice. That's what I love about the push is I could just, make some sort of basic synth patch, set it to whatever key I'm in, and then just wail on the push during that section, just goof off. And it's, and it's cool.
Yeah.
The goal for this would be more of like, actually where we just moved, there's a big amphitheater, the Veterans Home Loan Amphitheater.
Yeah.
This music is how I see a sunset show at the amphitheater.
Yep.
And so like one of my biggest goals with this would be to play like a sunset set at the amphitheater.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of like the image that I have in my head when I'm making these tracks is, could you play this at sunset? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could you play this driving to work? Absolutely.
At Sunrise, dude. Sunrise set.
At
you go
Sunrise,
to a festival, they have those like 5 a.m. sets. There it is.
Foggy 8 morning in Wisconsin. It
Dude,
works
tonight,
too. I'm telling
today,
you.
not tonight. Yeah. What was this morning?
It works for that. Yeah. I think it's just like transporting you to like just a whole other place, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the vibe. That's what I get from it. So, yeah, man, it's
tight. It's different than what everyone's doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And like, and like as he was saying, like everyone can DJ now, you know?
Yeah.
And like everyone does DJ. And like he was saying, I've even been talking with my management about like, how can I be different of not like showing up and I just play my sets? And we're cooking. We have something in the works. I'm not going to say though, because I'm going to gatekeep that actually. That's a gate kept.
Yeah.
But it's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But message me and I'll spoil it all for you.
No.
Well, we have videos. No.
But that's like a big part of it though, is like, how can you, this is different right here, what we're listening to right now. This is that thing. Yeah,
no, I think, I mean, it's like, you know, with music, once something becomes a trend and it's just the nature of the art, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like everybody starts copying it and that's just how people learn. And then if you want to really stand out, to your point, you got to do something that's fresh. You're still taking all of the theory that you've learned and you know music clearly, but then how can you disassociate yourself from what's trendy so you don't start sounding like that? And it's a process, right? I feel like it's...
Well, like,
it's
there's music theory that you can know and stuff, but it's all about just breaking rules.
Right.
Like, you don't have to be... You don't have to know music theory. It's like, what is your ear like?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I feel like once you know it, you know how to... You know that you're breaking it, right? Like, it's almost like you have that foundation and then you can, like, break away from it.
I definitely think when you're making a song, there's that moment on like your good songs where you're just like, dude, there it is. Like, you're looking for that one thing every time, and some songs it doesn't happen, and then you don't do anything with those songs. But the songs that you release and that you like, they have that moment.
Right. It's all about, you know, making friends with your muse.
Yeah.
Just letting it kind of come through, because I think just to get sort of spiritual about it, I do think that there's something about being a channel for the song. And it's just, you start vibing and you kind of get into the groove. But if you're trying to do something, like I think you were saying earlier, like I want to make a song that's this, and then you're trying to force it, it doesn't quite come, because it's like it's almost like
it has to reveal itself to you.
Yeah, it's like too much frontal lobe if you're trying to push it.
I mean, and like that's why you're not gonna make a banger every time you sit down. Like right now, I'm currently on like a 3-week binge of I haven't made anything.
Yeah,
I've been in the DAW. I'm spending time in there and I'm making stuff, sounds and stuff, but nothing's cooking right now. But that happens, and then one day I'll write 5 songs out of nowhere, and it's just like, what the hell? Yeah.
It's
just random.
It's a different process. Like you gotta again. I keep bringing on the muse, but I think that's that's the word we have for it. That inspiration that just sort of comes from nowhere, and boom.
And then the other part of it is you don't always have to be producing to be making steps towards what you want either. Right. Like it could be just watching a YouTube tutorial, and you're already leveling up. You don't have to always just be in the DAW. Yeah. Like that's a whole another part of it. Work on your brand. Work on other
You're just
things.
chipping away.
Chip away at everything. If you can't write music today, do something you can do today. Do your visuals. Do your online social promos. It's just about chipping away at stuff.
Dance to a Cronus track in your room.
Yeah, play a Cronus track.
Or just take a break, man. A lot of people don't give themselves enough grace, man. Go take a 3-week break. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're making it worse. It's like when you're tired or when you're trying to go to sleep and you can't go to sleep and all you can think about is going to sleep, and then all of a sudden now you're just wide awake.
Yep.
You're like, go to sleep. And then like that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So take a break. Stop thinking about it. And then when you come back, go do something that's going to give you inspiration. Go exercise, go for a walk, you know. Take care of yourself, because what's happening is you're hitting a wall for some reason.
Yep.
And so you need to give yourself grace, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Phil said, if if Ableton or whatever DAW you're using just isn't it today, do something else. Go draw.
Yeah,
go do something.
Go take pictures or something
If
else.
you want to be, if you want to be creative, go do a different. Go cook a meal without any like instructions. Just go be like, I like these flavors, and I'm gonna
try it out.
Right? Yeah, and that is actually, it's a good analogy, because I use cooking metaphors a lot. I'm sautéing, I'm stewing, there's different stages of cooking that you can be. You could be prepping, just chopping the food, which is like watching a tutorial, right? So it's like I think having the presence of, but that's probably another thing you kind of probably learned, and maybe they didn't explicitly teach it to you at school, but that sort of idea of like constantly learning, but not all the same things, and maybe that's why you guys are so productive, right?
They did. There was one class I hit home, and I probably hit Cronus good too. Was we had a class called Art of Flow.
Okay.
And it's basically an ego death class. So like you go into it, and it's not even really about music. It's more just about like life and like breaking out of your shell of your like ego and trying new things and learning like it's okay that one person has an opinion on this and you have an opinion on this, or like their workflow's like this. Yeah. It was just like breaking that ego, and that class I feel like made or break a lot of students. Like either you went in that class and you came out and you're still that like person that didn't listen to anyone and didn't learn, or you went in that class and you completely, your whole personality. Like I feel like I left for LA, went to LA. Yeah. Was living there. Then I went to that class and now I'm here. And I feel like my mentality of like everything, the scene, everything is just way different just because of that class. Yeah. Like it just all hit me there where I was like, dude. Was it one of the early classes in the program? Quarter 3. Okay. So
yeah, it was, it was actually later.
It was later. Yeah, that's which was nice because like you're there, you're making music, I go to Icon. I'm like, you're not like I'm the shit, but you're like, dude, this is sick. I'm gonna be the shit. But then you hit that class and you're like, I suck at music. Like this isn't like, it's just that class just opened up your eyes. And I know some people that went into it like that it didn't open their eyes. Like there was kids in our class that would literally start like a controversy with the with the professor. The professor being like, this isn't correct. Like this isn't a good philosophy, and it's like, dude, it's philosophy. Right. It's how can you be wrong when listen? You can't be wrong. And it just. Basically, at the end of the day, just go read that Rick Rubin book that came out. Yeah, The Creative Way. Yeah, that'll really hit you. Yeah, I started reading a book that talks about this called "Trying Not to Try." Okay, and it's basically the sort of it's like it's sort of like it's like Eastern philosophy of the Tao, right? Yeah, where it's like
we touched on Taoism in our book.
And so it's like basically like it's basically if you go around saying you're cool, you're not cool. Yeah. Right? Like if you're trying really hard, absolutely. You can't let yourself get to the point of flow. Like what in the Tao there's like I guess in Chinese it translates to da. Like it's like the or they say it da, but it's like sort of that state of flow.
And in music school it's called da.
There you go. Show me your da. Yeah. But it's getting into in any creative pursuit, right? Like whether it's video or photography or you're editing or anything, the more you try to force it, the less it's going to happen for you, and that's kind of the gist of the whole thing. And I think, I mean, maybe that's why your tunes are hitting me so hard because I'm in the process of like editing the podcast, and or we have like Notion going with all of
just
the
million
things,
tasks going on,
and then
these videos.
Now I'm just like, oh, okay, well, but the less pressure I put on myself for it, the more productive I am. Is basically what I'm getting
music's
at.
like giving you like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
like breathing.
Yeah, totally. It's like
you're like claustrophobic in a room. Because
frequencies shit, it's just like bogging down.
That's how the show was last time.
It got harsh.
That's what the people want. Dude.
Yeah, that's true. And yesterday's show.
Harder, please.
Tell us a little bit about your show yesterday while I find the other song.
Okay. It was cool. I opened direct support for Space Wizard. He's got that like analog wonky sound, which was tight.
Real gritty.
Yeah, and like I went into it sort of like, all right, I looked at his set list on track list just to make sure I didn't play anything that he's gonna play, and like I looked at it and I had to take a few songs out because he was playing heavy stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm like okay to play my stuff, like it'll be okay, and like also it helped because I'm like heavier. Yeah, like I'm a little bit heavier than him, I'd say. So me playing all the heavy stuff left him open to play his stuff, and it wasn't oversaturated with just wonky for like 3 hours straight. It was like, here's 50 minutes of really heavy like and my own music. Right. And then here's 2 hours or hour and a half of what you came here to see. Right. Yeah.
It was a good crowd. It was.
They were vibing, dude. It was like an actual like EDM crowd. Like they were there for Space Wizard. That's another cool part about shows like that when it's like an underground artist. It's like most of the crowd that comes there, they're there for that artist. They're not there because it's someone that's popular. Like they know what they're there for. Right. So then
what are your thoughts on going harder than the headliner? Say like for you, like you play a really heavy genre.
So
what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's up for interpretation. Like, so I played a show. I'm not going to name the artist. It's a touring artist, though. And I got an email a week before the show saying what I couldn't play. So I think the way I looked at it was like, dude, people are buying tickets to see you. And I'm not going to play the artist's song, obviously. Like, you're not going to play the guy's songs, right? But girls. Yeah. But for example, this person that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not going to play your songs, but if you're telling me I can't play these certain songs because they're too much energy and stuff, people are buying tickets to see you at this show. I don't think they're going to care.
Right.
Like, they're there just to have a good time. If you can play music, that's a good time.
Yeah.
Like, why is it a big deal?
Yeah.
Like, and then on top of it, you got to add the sound guys aren't blasting you. The headliner's getting full volume. Most of the time, you're not getting full volume. So it's not like the energy is really... Like, there's going to be full energy when that guy comes on and they're at 100% master.
Right, right.
That's my take on it, is sort of like... Because yesterday, I definitely went heavier. And he had enough heavy stuff where it did good. But, like, you just got to think of the lineup in a way. And it's like, okay, he's got more wonkier stuff. So if I go heavy, like, it'll be fine because it's a contrast in a way.
Right.
And then if you get a really heavy artist like Murata, who I've opened for, I can still go heavy because they're like, he's still way heavier than I am.
Yeah.
It's just, I also feel like my sound's in a cool in between. I used to be like super tear out. Now I'm a little bit more motif driven and like melodic.
Right.
So I think I fit a little bit more with my new stuff in a general middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my take on like artists that can get mad at you playing bangers before them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But also, if you're going to be a opener, don't play...
all the bangers. Either.
Not that. Don't play the top 40 dubstep songs on Beatport, please.
That's everyone, I swear.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, okay, yes, play that one Excision song that has a cool intro, everyone can sing along. But on the drop, let's not drop that song. Let's drop someone on SoundCloud.
Play an edit. Don't play the real song.
Not even an edit. Have another song ready for the build-up, drop it, and have it someone that has like 500 followers on SoundCloud that you've never heard of, and they have a free download.
Right.
Like, why? The other guys are going to play the mainstream shit. Why would you play the mainstream shit? And then you want to be different as an artist?
Right.
Sorry, I'm popping off. But
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's like I do so many shows, and it's like the amount of just sets that are like the same. They play the same songs just in different orders, and it's just like, oh man, like, dude, like I heard the same like song like 3 or 4 times. Like, am I listening to the same person? And it's like, that's why I liked your music. It's like, okay, this is different. Like, this is new. This is refreshing. Like, this is nothing that I've heard. Like, I love this shit. And it's just,
I appreciate that.
It brings love back to the, like, what music is, because music is supposed to be different.
Right. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And like, there's just so many artists that are like, I want to be different. And like, why am I not blowing up? Why am I not on tour? And it's like, because you're just playing like what we all, like everyone's playing.
So, it's like same edits.
From the crowd perspective, do you think that, because, we're all sort of in it as,
I mean, like that's a whole nother topic.
So
like, I hope you're in the general admission instead of green room, like for at least some of the show, please. Go there to enjoy yourself. You don't have to be cool.
Well, yeah, because I think especially I'm thinking like big festivals, because that is all of a sudden there's one song, one sample, whatever that's all over on every stage, and you just can't get away from it the whole weekend, right?
Right.
And it's probably done for like crowd pleasing purposes, right? And so. I guess that's sort of the balance, because you can kind of ride a wave with a certain song that people will remember your set because you played this one song or whatever.
Yeah.
Or do you think they're just there to, they don't really know who played it?
I think my thing is, if you're gonna do a remix or like a song like that's always playing. Yeah. Like, let's say yesterday I heard Jackpot by Company of 4 different sets.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't play it because I knew that was gonna be everyone's playing it.
Yeah.
But let's like use that example. So Jackpot. I think if you make a remix of it, a bootleg, and it's yours, dude, play it.
Yeah.
Like, cool.
Like,
you're just going to play the original, like, let's do a different drop.
Right. You add a level of artistry to your set. So and it's kind of like you catch the people that don't know enough with the song, but the people that know will respect you more because you put a little bit more effort than just playing that.
Exactly.
Song.
And like...
That makes sense.
Yeah. That's just my take on it. Just,
I just played straight off the top 40. That's it. No, I'm just kidding.
I think there's also a lot of power for like me to kind of combat. Like, I want to I want to do like, what is it, like 3-to-1, where like you play 3 unknown and then 1 that the crowd knows.
Right.
When you're DJing, if you want to like appease or appeal to the crowd, whatever I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah.
The way I would tackle that would be like, I know everyone's going to play, for example, everyone's going to play like Jackpot by a company, or, you know, whatever the hot song is at the time. I think there's sometimes more power in going back in time and finding a song from, you know, however long ago that had the same effect at that time, but then like bringing it back, like, hey, y'all listen to this. Do you remember this song? You know, and people are like, oh, you know, oh, you remember that song?
I did that yesterday.
I think that's a really cool way to do it.
I played Clarity yesterday by Zed.
And
that
perfect
one,
example.
people were singing, and it was like, dude, you guys remember 2012? What's up?
The golden era of dubstep.
Literally, I was like, there you go.
You're backserting now? Like, let's go.
Yeah, it's like an oldie by,
and then it's
by
also,
today's standards.
That's a good example of like, there's a sing along too, where if there's enough people that know it, you're getting like that whole
Absolutely.
But let's get into the
so
next track.
the last one was My Sound. Is that the one that I'm doing last?
Sound.
Yes. Okay, so there we go. All right.
We have a very fun Mount Rushmore after this one.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This one is unreleased as well, or
so this one's coming out Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So this one, this one's coming
by
out.
the time this airs, will be a new
By the
release.
time this airs,
this will be out when this airs.
This has been out. Yeah.
All right. Let's go. Drum and bass remix
on this. Hey, could be.
Just double the speed.
Double time.
Yeah, this one had me feeling all pensive and stuff.
Wow, pensive.
Just, I don't know. I was just kind of like hearing it and just, it's like, it's like 90 BPM, so it's like you could totally just take those textures and do
throw more kicks in there.
That's the best part about that tempo. You could do halftime, sounds cool. You do double time,
an amen break so there cool. To kind of just
amen,
cool.
Man,
those are all.
Amazing.
Solid tunes.
Yeah,
Very
so,
solid.
So good, so fresh, dude.
Soulful.
Like, fucking awesome. Keep on doing what you're doing, man. Like,
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Look at that.
Like, now I need to go see him sometime. Like,
Yeah.
do you have any shows
road
coming?
trip to Virginia
Dude,
Beach, anybody?
You need a videographer?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I really do, Phil. I really want to do like some sort of like thing outside. Maybe have like a couple people around, like Circle Rec, CERCLE Records.
Yeah.
They do like those shows on like those crazy, like up on a mountain or like in front of like something in Egypt. Like they have like the craziest landscapes that they do like live streams. I thought like the Lesnar Bridge where we went would be a cool one. And then like by my old house, the Bay Bridge Tunnel. It has like, it's like two bridges essentially that just like go out into the bay, like out into the horizon. Mm-hmm. And there's a spot right between the two roads where I could set up and have like drone footage of the cars going by.
And
nice.
you're just
You know,
like,
I thought that'd be really
flying.
cool. Yeah.
Dude, that'd
Fire.
be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't like
maybe we have to set that
like,
up.
Up in a mountain or something like that?
There's been
Yeah.
a few like that. Trying to think of who did one recently. David Guetta did one during COVID on like a hotel roof. That was a
Diplo
wild-
did one on like the Sydney Bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he did one on like one of the tallest mountains, but I forgot which one. He like did some.
Didn't he also play in Antarctica?
Yeah, he did that.
What?
He did play in Antarctica.
Yeah.
He was the first DJ to do that.
It's like him, Metallica, and like maybe a few other people who have ever played on every continent.
Yeah.
So they just did it so they could check them.
Yeah, it's like a bucket
That's why I think that's why
Bucket list.
Metallica did it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like a bucket list thing. Yeah.
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 Dude,
I mean, not too many people in
Wisconsin is
Antarctica
basically
listening to
Antarctica.
you.
Right, yeah. Wisconsin would count in the winter, no? In about 3 weeks, it's gonna
So-
count as Antarctica.
So we're gonna get into this segment called Mount Rushmore, and I actually brainstormed two different ones, and we're gonna decide which one we want to do.
All right.
So the first Mount Rushmore idea would be first EDM concerts to take a first date. The second idea I thought of, because we have two dads in this room,
Yeah, there you go.
the first artist you would introduce your kids to. The first EDM artist you would like.
It has to be EDM.
Yes, because this is an EDM podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first EDM artist. So which one do we want to do?
We're going with a family theme today.
Well, one of the
Either
two,
you're
right?
starting right, yeah.
Shoot.
I like the dad one.
Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like that one might be a little easier
Yeah.
to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do the Mount Rushmore of artists you would show your kid for the first time. EDM artists.
Okay.
So everyone take a minute to like
Yeah.
stew on that and
Pull up my notes tab.
Yeah, kind of.
Take some notes.
Let's see.
I got
Who do
it.
you like.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, dude, do I want to like mess this kid up?
Like,
Or what?
how badly do I want to ruin my child?
Do I want him to turn out like me or like?
Oh man. I need one more.
I got a hilarious one.
I wish that guy didn't do what he did.
Yeah, right. That's for you.
Man.
Darn it.
Ruined it.
They gotta go and ruin it.
Yeah, don't do that. All right, if someone's ready, they go.
Well, no, I already predetermined. So I spun a wheel to see what the order would be.
All right, what is the order?
So the order is Phil, Moises, Cronus, Jorge. So
All right,
frequency,
good.
Moises,
Cool.
Cronus,
Cool.
Cosmo Brown. aka
Cosmo
Jorge.
Brown. Yes. That's me.
Yeah. I just need one more, and I can start this. I could just start it and brainstorm as I go. So for the first pick of the Mount Rushmore of artists you would introduce your kid to first, I have picked someone that I look at as the pedestal of the bass scene.
Yeah.
Like someone that I'd be like, this is God. You need to,
Yeah.
if you want to do this,
Educate
this is
yourself,
him.
kid.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is him. Space Laces.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm starting it out with Space Laces on the first pick. He doesn't show anything in his production. There's no tutorials out or anything, but he's like the guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's written music for everyone. Like he's ghost written. He drops a song every 6 months and it's the top song every time. But he only drops every 6 months or so. So it's like, dude, drop more music.
Yeah.
But like that's like the pedestal for me where I'm like, I look up to that guy and that's like if I showed my kids something, I'd be like, dude, see this? This right here.
This is what got me into it.
Yeah. So that's my first pick. Second pick goes to Moises.
Not gonna lie, it's gonna be Skrillex, man.
Yeah.
He just stole one of mine.
That like OG, like who doesn't like
Right, absolutely.
like
Yeah.
first few moments.
Right.
Skrillex is my pick.
He was like the start of it all. Like in the
my little angsty like EDM start to everything. I was like, oh yeah, fuck.
Would we even have jobs if it wasn't for him? Right?
Yeah, I mean, shit. No, I mean, dude, when I first started listening to EDM, I was all over the place.
Yeah.
But like, Skrillex is like what made it.
Right.
Right. Cool. So Skrillex with Moises on the second pick of the draft. Next up, we have Cronus with the third pick of the Mount Rushmore of artists you would introduce your child to.
I would say Zed's Dead, just because it was one of my firsts.
The way you said that, it was one of my first.
Hey, okay. It's okay if that's what it was.
Yeah.
No, I would say them because they were one of my first that I started listening to. How long they've been around, and how wide and vast their range is, because they go from hip hop to drum and bass to dubstep to UK garage to house, whatever it is. They play, and especially in their sets, they play everything.
They're versatile.
Very versatile. And so I think that would be a good example. Because let's be honest, I'd be taking him to show him how to, what's up.
Dude, look at this guy.
So, if you're gonna do it like them.
Yeah, right. Okay, that's a great pick. So we got Zed's Dead with Cronus on the third pick. And then the final pick of the first round goes to Jorge, Mount Rushmore of EDM artists you're going to introduce your kid to.
Yeah, so they might not be playing live, this particular group I'm thinking of, by the if I ever have a kid, by the time I have a kid. But it's, I don't know if you guys ever heard Orbital. Orbital is like one of the OG, sort of like one of the first like live electronic music act, what I would consider live, where it's two brothers, and they would essentially it was like 90s, late 90s till the late 90s. They still put out music like every couple of years. There's a new Orbital, and it was a lot of the breakbeat that start, it was their sound. Yeah. No, it was actually like very melodic and sort of like if you want to hear a classic like EDM or electronica, back then it was called electronica. It would be like Halcyon, it's one of the top songs, like what, and I was thinking of this too, how, because I have a niece who, she was a kid, and that was one of the first, it's just like, here, dance to this, and she's like 4 years old, and just like, so it's like very accessible, and they actually they toured with their synths. So like in their shows, they would be wearing these two like, they were just like kind of flashlights, right, LED lights. And so their shows will always start with like lights go down, and then the LED lights, and they start moving around to like, and they have like their wall of synths and just kind of like playing stuff. Yeah, look them up. There's like the Brown album was sort of the classic one with Halcyon and Lush 1, 2, 3, and so check them out. Yeah,
cool. We got that down. Orbital. So now we're going to come back the same way. So Jorge is going to get the first pick of the second round now.
All right. So this is like the other end of the spectrum.
Okay.
It's an album, Wormhole by Ed Rush and Optical, drum and bass. Like that was like seminal for me in drum and bass. And that's kind of like the neuro funk scene is what shaped.
Wormhole by who?
By Ed Rush and Optical. They're like drum and bass sort of. They're still around too.
This dude's teaching people.
They're gotten a lot harder over the years, but they were, it's like 98 this album came out, and it was like pretty much defined the drum and bass sound for the next like 10, 15 years. Like a lot of the breaks we think of now, they came out during that time. And they were just sampling funk records and speeding them up, and just like,
right.
Like a lot of like artistry went to that. And they used the Korg Z1 for the basses, so a lot of the womp womp like was just basically from that album. So that's another one that the whole album just rocks me. But there's a couple of songs on there like Compound that I have distinct memories of bouncing around again with my niece. So it's kid friendly.
It's kid friendly.
Yeah. There's no swear words.
Oh, there you go.
Just like very dark. So
anyway, Jorge starting the second round off with Ed Rush and Optical. Cronus, your second pick of the second round.
Arguably just as important as the first. These two are interchangeable in case word ever gets back to either of these people, any of these people.
Oh, boy.
If I ever, that'd be a great day. Pretty Lights would definitely be either one or two. Either ZZ or Pretty Lights being one or two. Pretty Lights, same reason. Listening to them since mid-2000s. The instrumentation, sampling, just every aspect of what I love about music. Yeah. He's so good at it. And then his live sets, just the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they just played in Minnesota about a month ago.
That was a cool read. I saw recap videos of that.
Yeah.
Real cool.
Okay.
I think, Mycelial Flow and Flat, who have been here before, went.
They went?
They both nights. I think they played 2 nights.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Cronus with Pretty Lights is the second pick of the draft. Now we got Moises with his second pick of Mount Rushmore of EDM artists you're going to introduce your kid to.
All right, so I got Justice.
Justice.
Second pick. Dude, Justice is...
That's a hot one.
Oh, man, where have I not, Justice and, their music was in video games, out and about in just, regular, not even EDM shows, but it's just, dude, Justice has just such a, warm, spot in my heart, just their music, their sound. It's just amazing, and I feel like you don't hear that as much nowadays. Know, I like Murata. I like heavy shit, but dude, if I want to just jam out,
show his kid Murata the first time.
Jesus Christ, she's what is wrong with you?
She's like, what?
My dad's weird.
Yeah, dude, I can see
gunshots? What is this sound?
Yeah, what are you doing with this music?
Screaming, just dude, what is wrong with you? No, but dude, Justice is what's up?
Yeah.
If you don't listen to Justice, what's wrong with you?
Hey, call out. Okay, so Justice with Moises on the second pick. And now here's my last pick of the second round. It's going to be Daft Punk.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn you. That was my number 3.
Yeah. So they are just the influence of it all.
Yeah,
I just the amount of times, not even just the music they make, the amount of times they've been resampled in a cool way as well.
Yeah.
There's just
Have you seen that video of it's the funk song that they sampled for One More Time? But it's basically they took a bar from different sections of the song for the bum 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 like that. But it's it's actually I forget the name of the artist, but it's I'll find it and send it to you. But it was Cronus, have you nodded? I think you've seen it. But it's I was holy crap! They literally took and they just jumped it around and then turned it into this massive tune, and that's basically the whole song is that funk song sample.
And then the other good example of them getting resampled was Kanye on what's that song called? Stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song.
Have you seen him live?
Dude. What? Stronger?
No, Daft Punk.
I've seen both live.
Dude.
I saw the Stronger live by Kanye, and then I saw Daft Punk.
Yeah.
That's sick.
I saw him at the LA Coliseum. No, Sports Arena.
All right, dude, flex a little harder.
Dude, no, it was that's why I should have just done number 1, but god damn it. I tried to go with history first, but it was their live show fucking it was the first time I've heard an electronic artist that was they played all their songs, but not the song. It was just the samples and they were all sort of interwoven, and just the light spectacle was insane, and then at the end, you know, it just all goes dark.
And they have that cool brand.
Yeah, like they have the robot brand.
Yeah.
And at the end, it all goes dark, and then whoosh, their like jackets light up with Daft Punk, and it was like, oh my god!
And they were pretty like anonymous for a while, right?
Yeah. I mean, that was their whole vibe was like, we're, you know.
I think they figured it out now.
Yeah, I think so. And then their first show was here in Wisconsin, apparently, in the U.S. Their first U.S. show
Wisconsin?
was in Appleton.
Really?
Yeah. Back in like, you know, 1999.
What a wild little like.
Yeah, dude. And everybody from every OG from here that's like that I've met since I moved here, they're like, oh, did you know Daft Punk played here the first time? And
like,
yeah,
no,
I did not. And
no idea.
After the first time, yeah. So anyway,
yeah,
that's a good second pick.
Yeah, sorry, I took
Bastard.
that one. Daft Punk, second pick.
So now back to the drawing board for me.
That's the end of round 2. Now we're going to do round 3, and I get to pick again. So my Mount Rushmore of EDM artists I would introduce to my child. My number 3, and this is more for like rule breaking and showing them that you can do whatever you want. It would be Getter.
Man.
Did I steal another one?
I have like a bunch written out just in case you guys steal them.
So yeah, Getter. So full circle moments I got to open for him. I think Cronus did too, back in the day. Yep. But yeah, so full like opening him from was one thing, but like before that, like I saw him when he was doing his early dubstep. Then I saw him during Visceral when everyone started being like, dude, what the fuck is this? And I was like...
Dude, Visceral's goated.
Yeah.
So I don't know what people are talking about.
So that was like art, and that was a dude being like, I want to do what I want. Honestly, represents Cronus in a good way. Like, it's sort of like the same thing where he's like, I'm done doing like making this stuff that everyone's expecting. I'm doing what I just want to make. And people gave him shit for that, and then he sort of just stopped for a little bit, and then he came back out with some more of the heavy stuff, and then it's cool because he was like, you know what, dude, I'm just not having a good time. This isn't fun for me. And now he's just a like straight up baller of a rapper, like Tara Reid, dude. Yeah, Tara Reid. So it's just cool to see like that's a guy that I would tell my child, I'm like, dude, that guy is what you should be like striving for. Like break rules. Yeah, and he had an actually really funny show. Real Bros of Simi Valley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was on a really funny show. He's a comedian. He's like hilarious at the end of the day. Like the dude is really down to earth and like a comedian. It's funny, but
that's funny.
Yeah, he's just a guy that I'd be like, listen, this guy, people gave him shit. He just kept doing what he wanted, and look, he's doing great for himself. Like that's a prime example of that. So that's why he's my 3rd pick. Okay, so yeah, there's 2 steals in back-to-back picks. Sorry, everyone. Next up, we got Moises with pick number 3 for him. What do we got?
I don't know if you know this guy, Kavinsky.
Kavinsky?
Yeah, he's like 80s synth, like wave.
I gotta
like,
Google him.
Very retro, like 16-bit video gamey like sound. Like his stuff is dope. If you love Daft Punk, you'll love Kavinsky. Like,
Gotcha.
That's some dope shit. Like very. Yeah, he's so underrated. Like his stuff is like so good. Like I highly suggest if you haven't heard of Kavinsky, like
we're
check him
teaching
out.
the listeners today.
Yeah, like I'm trying to pick all the stuff that like what brought me here.
Right.
And it's just like Kavinsky's gonna be one of them, and you don't hear enough of him. Like he's just like that like hidden gem. I want to say, and they're like completely different to like what I like to listen to, which is like would be like Murata, Sundeath, and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
that's a good pick, dude.
Kavinsky, go check him out.
You heard it here first, folks. All right, so Kavinsky is Moises' number 3 pick. Now we're back to Cronus on Mount Rushmore of artists you would introduce your child to.
How many do we get?
4. It's just like Mount Rushmore, like 4 heads on a Mount Rushmore. Yeah.
Okay, so then this one, I would say Rusko.
Rusko. There's a throwback.
Rusko, I feel like he has been around a long time. I've seen him a couple times. I would say a lot of, if you could see a show of like classic Rusko songs. Last time I saw him, I feel like, I don't know, he's goated to me for sure. But I think like last time, I think he was like fucked up on stage or something.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe he's trying to like fit in with like the current sounds?
I think there's probably some of that. I think, think about it. He's been around so long. I'm sure it's very common for if you've been around so long, like,
right,
you don't really care. And so, like, as someone in the audience, that's like doing me a disservice because, like, I came to see you. I came to see what, like, I hear listening to you all the time. And then, like, you know, but again, music is subjective, and maybe he was just playing songs that I didn't really like. Still, one of my favorite.
Yeah,
one
maybe
of my favorite
out of it. Like that sound.
Yeah, you can go.
I don't know. It was like sloppy. Gotcha. I don't want to say like, you know, I don't know. I think he was just drinking. He was barefoot.
Gotcha. Dude, he likes to go barefoot. Like
I think that's his thing, man. But it was like being drunk and then like, I don't know. It just seemed like
him before Moises.
Yeah, he played here at Liquid, and I know he was talking about why. I think it's like he likes to take his shoes off because it's more comfortable for him. I don't know how that's gonna be more comfortable. That's what his explanation was. Dirty stage, but yeah, though.
Yeah, dude, it's like, and that stage is like a little bit. I'm pretty sure it's like wooden. What if you just like?
Yeah. So a splinter.
Yeah, dude. Right, like your mid stroke on the
like sticky from
CDJ.
Like all the artists drinking up on
that too. It's probably sticky as shit. Yeah. Interesting. I'm just learning stuff about artists here. All right, so he got Rusko as his third pick of this Mount Rushmore. Jorge, we're at your third.
My third would be,
everyone buckle up. We're not going to know the name.
No, no, it would actually be Deadmau5, which I'm sure you've heard of.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know, stole another one.
Yeah. I didn't particularly love the last set of his I saw, but it might have just been because it was at EDC and it was just like there was sensory overload.
Yeah,
and it was like Sunday happens. And I was just like, I bet I would enjoy this in a different context, you know, but because he's still like, you know, dope,
right?
You know, EDM. So yeah, that would be mine. He was quite iconic for quite a long time now, still. So you know, and he's still making moves.
I saw him at Grid Life, where we were like chilling in the back. I was with Dogma.
Yeah,
it's like me mugging us.
Nice.
But I was like, yeah, look at this, it's the guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, good news, Jorge. No one can steal your next one because this is your final pick. And we're in the fourth round of Mount Rushmore of EDM artists you'd show your child.
So this one is a bit. It's not well. It's more like the kid would have to be a little bit older to be able to hang for a Carl Cox set. Carl Cox is just a legend, yeah, and and he still fucking kills it every time I've seen him. Ultimate pro, like he's just so much energy. And just he's going off.
Like for his age, like he's still
dude, he's still rocking. He's like an inspiration, you know. He's just like he's So that would
do
be
whatever you want. You don't have to. Age is just a number.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Cool.
That would be my.
So that's Jorge's last pick of his Mount Rushmore, and now we come back to Cronus with your fourth and final pick.
I'm gonna give a shout out to the homie Ravenscoon. Paul. He has a really interesting sound, neuro, like down tempo type sound, really up there with like the stuff that I like. And his stuff can get really melodic. He can get heavy, a lot of really cool samples. I've seen him live a few times, and every time I'm like, dude, you know, like he'll throw an edit in there. Like I remember the first time I saw him, he played like a Pusha T edit, and then he played like a Beastie Boys edit. I was like, man, this guy is on his shit.
He was just hitting all Cronus's playlists. He was like,
dude. Big shout out to Paul. I think he went to school for marketing too, and you can definitely tell. But when I was at Icon, we did like it might have been the advanced program. We were doing some sort of marketing thing, and like we had to like pick artists whose marketing we want to emulate.
We picked him.
He was one of mine. Yeah, his like he uses a lot of like purples in his media, and so like at his shows he'll go through, like you can definitely tell that like the pictures he posts on social media are like shots that like the colors represent the colors in his brand, which is like a really cool way to tie all that in. Art, everything matches. He's killing it, man. So big shout out, Paul.
Nice. Shout out Paul Ravenscoon. Okay, so Cronus with the final pick of his Mount Rushmore with Ravenscoon. Now we have Moises, with your final pick of Mount Rushmore of EDM artists you would show your child.
All right, I think I got the perfect one to end it all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a Knife Party.
Oh, nice.
Knife Party.
There it is. That's a good one.
Dude,
That
I
is a good one.
saw
Riot music.
Knife Party like finally at Lost Lands. I don't know which year it was.
I saw that same one. It was 22.
Yeah.
No, 21. Yeah, 22 because I was at Icon. And then I went there because it was during our break.
Dude,
Yeah.
amazing. Like
What's your favorite Knife Party song?
Bonfire and Centipede.
Dude, mine's that one. What's the one with like you blocked me on Facebook and now you're going to die?
And now you're going to die.
Yeah, that was like the first song I ever heard that was like EDM. That was one of the first tunes where I was
Oh,
like,
yeah?
whoa.
Internet friends.
That's what it was. Yeah, Internet
Yeah.
Friend. Dude, that melody,
Yeah.
that whole thing was just fire. Like ahead of its time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, he's like amazing tracks, and like seeing him at Lost Lands, it was
It's, like,
just
on and off.
Yo, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it's funny though, because it's like the people that like I was with, like they were like, it's like, where's the doubles? I'm like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, like,
this
enjoy
track,
this.
like listen to this fucking track.
Yeah.
Like it's not just about fucking doubles, triples.
Right.
Like listen to the fucking track.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it was
Right.
amazing. Oh, we got a child.
We got
All
a
right.
visitor.
Yeah.
Hey.
They heard a knife party and like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta get in on the
Like-
action.
The
I hear
kid heard knife party.
Yeah.
It's like, yo.
So promoters out there, you should make note. Maybe have
that's
a
a good
kid
list.
zone.
Kids
Also,
Yeah.
promoters out there, this is a good list of people to book.
Yeah, basically, yeah, no. Just have like a kid zone. You have a VIP area, and then like general admission, and then you have a kid zone
Yeah.
for for all the parents in the audience that want to pass along.
Remember Phil?
What up?
You don't remember Phil?
He doesn't remember me, dude.
Yeah,
You just want to sit right there?
All right, he's
You want Dad
chilling.
to talk? All right. You gonna sit right there? You want to listen? All right.
All right, perfect. He can listen to my final pick of the Mount Rushmore.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, listen up, buddy. No.
Hey, check this out, man.
Yeah. So my final pick is actually the person that's got me into the EDM realm. It's not essentially dubstep, but he's interested.
Yeah,
He's like,
I think he just booted. I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me.
So this guy, it's going to be, my final pick is Dylan Francis.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. Yeah.
So the first song I heard by him that got me into the whole thing was Need You.
Yeah.
It's like one of his more popular ones, but just like his bass lines and like when it was the first time I heard music that was loud, where I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
like this is cool. And like it wasn't also house music, it was like Moombahton at the time, or
Yeah.
like it was just
He was
different.
really big on that.
Yeah, and then it was cool because like watching him since then, he's just been versatile and he's switched like as he's gotten older. And then the coolest part was we're at Icon and all of a sudden he's a student there.
Oh no
while we
way,
were there.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
like
huh.
he was taking like private lessons while we were there.
Yeah.
And he went there because he's like, I want to get better.
Yeah.
And it's cool seeing like someone that's been transforming as he goes still be like, I'm not good enough.
Right.
And he's already at like such a scale. And the other
Yeah.
part about it is he's goofy. Like he's
Right.
funny.
Wait,
I like how
is
he's a
Dylan
goofy
Francis? Does he have like an alter ego? Doesn't is he?
Yeah, DJ Hansel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's got this
And
like,
he like talks trash on himself, like
They
they
talk trash to each other. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
that DJ Hansel's like a deep house. Like his big thing is going one deeper.
One deeper.
Yeah.
One deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, Dylan Francis got me into this whole thing at the end of the day, and then just ended up going to school with him essentially.
That's cool.
And I'm just like, wow.
It's like a funny circle being
yeah,
sort of closed.
it's like, whoa, cool. But then,
Yeah.
and then just the goofiness of him, where he's funny and like down to earth. Like he's not just cookie cutter,
Right.
your typical influencer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We did
there's
that Q&A too.
yeah, and we got a Q&A from him where he
Oh,
answered
yeah?
questions, and he basically was just like, do whatever you want.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Yeah, that was the best.
Yeah.
So we're at this.
All the teachers were in the back. Like, are you serious?
we're at Icon.
Don't listen to these fuckers. Just do
that was
whatever
the
you
best
want.
part.
he was like, yeah, I did that one track with Skrillex or whatever, and we got to like version like 18 or whatever, and then we realized that version 2 was the one that we wanted to
Right.
go with. So he threw a Pro L on it and just cranked it up and called it good. And he goes, that's when I was like, oh, nothing matters.
Yeah, dude, and then he was
Don't
explaining
overthink
how he
it.
had an intro from one song, and it was just the MP3, MP3 and he dragged it in, and then they just threw a drop from a different MP3 over it, and he's like, and then we just mastered it. And I was like, and that's all it was? And he's like, yeah, dude, just do whatever. Like, you don't need to be here. Essentially. Even though he was going there again.
Right,
like,
right.
Okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's the final pick of the Mount Rushmore of artists, EDM artists you would introduce to your child.
Nice.
And I think that wraps our segment with Cronus.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, this was really fun.
It's always great just talking.
The one thing that we're going to ask you is to stick around. We're going to end the recording, and then it's going to like parse and upload and all that. So you could just leave it running while we kind of just wrap it up. But
everyone at home and listening to this or watching this, this was Cronus. He's out in Virginia Beach area, repping the beach.
Yeah, and you heard
Coast.
The songs.
You heard his music.
All...
There's more where that came from.
Yeah.
He's got some released already. There's some on the way.
Yeah, what are your socials so we can...
Yeah, what's your tag?
Everything's pretty much just at Cronus Dub.
Look at that.
So,
cool.
Yeah, CRONUSDUB.
Yep.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah,
again,
man. Thanks again.
Dude. It was
thank you for the music.
Thank you, guys.
Hope to catch up after this with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll do it again soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That about does it for this episode of Mad Unity, our EDM life. Thank you to Cronus and Moises for joining us on this episode. And thank you all for listening. Remember to follow us on social media at Mad Unity Radio and subscribe to our podcast channels. Next week, an episode full of new and unreleased music where we catch up on the reviews of the music you've been sending us. Until then, be safe out there.
Listen.